Hello and welcome. Today we will be discussing Death Stranding and crafting a spin on a classic cocktail. The inspiration of our cocktail today will be the Corpse Reviver. It has had many variations in the past, but traditionally it is made with 2 parts cognac, 1 part apple brandy, and 1 part sweet vermouth. My favorite part about the Corpse Reviver is the note attached to the cocktail in the first printed recipe is to be taken before 11 a.m. or whenever steam or energy is needed. And you will need energy to complete Death Stranding. It is a massive game. And quite frankly, I can understand and appreciate how some people look at this game and think it is just a walking simulator. I feel like that also could be said about great pieces of art. Oh, it's just dots. Oh, it's just a soup can. When you start to deconstruct the game, you understand the messages that the creator was trying to portray. It's almost like Hideo Kojima saw something that no one else did coming. The game is set in the near future, where mankind lives isolated, hiding from an invisible threat. That kinda sounds familiar, don't you think? When the game was first announced, and I saw the trailer, the big takeaway notes were Norman Reedus is in a game, and there's a bunch of beached whales, and what looks like oil water. It was all very confusing, but I was still ready to get my hands on it. First good piece of news, it is an amazing port. I literally just set everything to ultra, and the game was basically running at 60 frames a second. So, what are the ingredients for our spin on a Corpse Reviver? First, we're going to start with a sweet vermouth. We're going to use about half an ounce of sweet vermouth. Then, we are going to get a half ounce of plum brandy. Again, you can choose any kind of brandy. I chose plum because, well, it spoke to me. We're going to follow that up with 1 ounce of cognac. I had Hennessy lying around the house, so I decided to use Hennessy. We are going to use tonic to top and lemon and lime juice to give it a little bit of tartness. You can feel free to add simple syrup if you prefer your cocktail sweet instead of tart. When playing Death Stranding, it cannot be separated from the multiplayer aspect, in my opinion, because that is what makes the connective tissue of the game work. I felt a lot of comparisons start to kind of percolate in my brain when playing this game compared to Breath of the Wild, but I think the most interesting and kind of divergent thing that those two games do separately is where in Breath of the Wild, all of the objects that you discover in the open world are placed there specifically by a game developer, where when discussing Death Stranding, all the amazing things you discover are put there by someone else. Sometimes you'll have to work together to create private suites or highways, and quite frankly, highways, once they're in, they make the game a lot less difficult. I would recommend any time you walk by an auto paver, throw whatever you have available in, because as soon as you put something in, I generally found that roads started to rebuild quicker. And I think that's kind of one of the messages in the game. When we work together, we can get things done quicker. Many hands make quick work, as they say. With all this praise, of course, is going to come downsides. The menus, well, they act like they are intuitive, are actually far from it. I found myself kind of backing out and going into menus way too often. As soon as you get away from the menus, the game really just shines, but it gets bogged down so heavily in the menus that it is a deterrent. But if you can break through the menus, the core gameplay is amazing. The landscapes are just breathtaking, and the fact that you kind of feel like you leave your mark when you place certain objects that get a lot of likes. Oh, we should probably talk about the likes. The game uses a like system whenever somebody likes it or uses an object you place, which generally gives you an idea of how effective that positioning of the item was. But more to it, it kind of feeds into the gameplay loop in a strange way, making you want to do something for invisible likes. Hideo Kojima was definitely sending a statement with that kind of gameplay. And because the gameplay is so different on so many different levels, it can feel like the tutorial lasts 3 to 4, maybe even 5 hours, which I can understand is frustrating, but also since everything is brand new, even the ideas in the game and how they interact with the world, it does take a long time to unpack that and to get you comfortable with all of the different facets of gameplay. My only other tiny gripe is that there should have been some kind of music player, because when the game decides that the soundtrack is the appropriate time to play, it usually is an amazing moment, but it would also be nice to have some control over the music. But don't get me wrong, the music is amazing. It almost feels that the game is a visual experience for the music, and that you couldn't have one without the other, because all the emotions that the music are trying to pull from you are emotions that your character is feeling in that moment. And really, I haven't even started talking about the stealth mechanics or the actual weapons or the vehicles, but what I will say about the stealth mechanics are, you know, a man who has crafted Metal Gear after Metal Gear after Metal Gear is going to have the fundamentals of stealth completely down. Alright, now that we are plugged in to get ready to make this cocktail, we're starting with our Boston Shaker for this one, because anytime you have juice, you want to make sure it gets evenly mixed with the cocktail, so shaking is generally the best way to do that. So we're gonna load up ice into our shaker. Now we are gonna start with our ½ ounce of sweet vermouth. You're going to put that in. If you're wondering why I have such a big bottle, well, sweet vermouth goes into a lot of cocktails. My personal favorite cocktail is the Boulevardier, and that's 1/3 of the ingredients. Next, we've got this beautiful plum brandy. We're gonna put a ½ ounce of the plum brandy in. Just pour, drop it in like that. Perfect. Okay, now we are gonna follow it with 1 ounce of cognac. Again, I just had Hennessy lying around and I thought it would work well for this cocktail. And again, I love playing with ports or cognacs or anything with that kind of wine kind of notes. So we're gonna finish this portion with 1 ounce of lemon and lime juice. Again, if you want to make it sweeter, I would go a ½ ounce of lemon and lime juice and then a ½ ounce of simple syrup. Now, the most important part is we are shaking the cocktail, making sure everything gets mixed up. Whenever I shake a cocktail, I imagine the liquids are doing a figure-8 pattern in my head as I shake it, so I usually thrust down, pull up, and that helps with the formation. When you see you have a nice, good, thick frost on the outside of your shaker, you are ready to roll. So the glassware I chose for this is a stemless wine glass. I feel like it helps portray the look a little bit better. Now we're gonna load it up with ice. Try not to skimp on the ice, but I wasn't gonna be filling the glass all the way up anyways. So now we are gonna take the contents of that drink and pour it into the glass. Try to do it as evenly distributed as possible. As you can see, I got a little messy here. Now we are going to grab our can of tonic. Any kind of tonic will work. And I just filled it up to the 2/3 mark. Now, citrus. Always garnish over top of the glass. Make sure all the citrus juices get into the glass and into your drink so that you can enjoy it better. Now, you might think, oh, he's struggling. I just had to make sure I got a nice clean line, because sometimes you get not a clean line and you get a short little garnish. But I got a nice long peel that I am twisting around a straw, It's the easiest way to give it that beautiful spiral pattern you're going to be looking for. Alright, then you just slide it off the straw, pop it in, and you are good to have a beautiful handcrafted cocktail. Enjoy. Comment down below what you think we should name the drink. So, in closing, the game definitely has some strengths and some weaknesses. If you're the type of person that gets overwhelmed by a lot of notifications and a lot of things flying at your screen quickly, I would not recommend this game. If you're also the type that needs to get right into the action right away, I would definitely not recommend this game. But if you like to sit back and you like to enjoy, it's almost like gamer yoga. There's something zen about the game when you are traveling from A to B and just kind of walking around, avoiding small objects on the ground, picking up someone's lost item and returning it, or completing their quest that they never got to finish. With that said, if it's on sale, I'd recommend giving it a try. I really enjoyed the game. As for the cocktail we've crafted here today, it is delicious. I was originally inspired by the Corpse Reviver for its name alone. I mean, Corpse Reviver, Death Stranding, it kind of feels like it goes really well together. But once I crafted it, I kind of felt like I wanted to do something more. I wanted to try something new, and when you're creating something, you might as well create it all the way and try something new. So I'd give both of these my recommendation. I might even say drink the variation cocktail all night, but do so responsibly. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a great day and hope to see you around real soon.